Good evening. This is the March meeting, monthly meeting of the Norwalk Parking Authority Board. We open the meeting with the opportunity for public comment. We ask that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each. And I'll ask at this time if there is anyone in waiting interested in speaking.
There is not.
Okay. With that, I'll note we do have a quorum, and we're prepared to go. So Brian, if you'd like to, actually, our first action is to accept the minutes from the previous meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions in the submitted minutes, which were attached to this evening's invite and available at the city's website? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
I'll make a motion to accept the
And I'll
minutes.
second.
A motion and a second. Is there any comment, any further comment regarding the minutes? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much. We'll accept the minutes as submitted. And I believe that the next item is the engineering report regarding the Yankee Doodle Garage. Brian?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, got a few updates for this month, exciting ones. One of them is that for the Yankee Doodle exterior repairs, the concrete part of the project, the contract was executed on the 25th of March. I'm working with our consultant Desmond and Ken Sugarman to get the schedules for mobilization and get key milestone dates from the contractor. We anticipate the contractor starting end of April, beginning of May, so that's great. We started going around to the local businesses this week to provide them an overview of the project, and more importantly, informing them that the garage will remain open during the project. So exciting stuff happening. I'm personally excited to get this project moving so we can really see the improvements over there.
Brian, just have a little question for you. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand, but if they're spraying or stripping, cleaning before they paint and stuff, are they using anything that people with car finishes would be concerned about?
So this part of the project isn't part of the painting process. They're removing the concrete ribs at the bottom. They're going to cut the ribs at the bottom of the garage and do some sealant throughout the facility. The next phase after this, which will be coming up, the project will be coming up as soon as this finishes. That will be part of that project.
Okay.
But Peter, in either case, the cars there'll be sections of the garage that will be just marked off. And with your advance notice to move, and that day to move, so that the work zone is always going to remain clear. They're only going to be working in a proportion of the garage at a time.
Yeah, those power washers, when they start blasting them, it's almost like a steam. It's kind of in the air, so to speak.
Yeah. So that's the next phase, but there'll also be a curtain they're going to be putting down at that time.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jim.
Brian, can you thanks, Peter and Jim. Brian, can you go in a little bit more into detail about what business outreach looks like?
Right now, it's myself and Rocky going around door to door, just kind of explaining what the project is, just kind of refresh their memory, and to just kind of explain on the staging, kind of like what Jim was kind of alluding to, just saying, listen, cars, there's going to be coned off areas where people can't park, but there'll be, the spaces will be open for anyone to park that's not being under construction or affected by the work.
Okay.
Is there anything you would suggest?
Honestly, Brian, if you're able to bring to the board any kind of feedback that you receive from those businesses about how we can better partner with them in the future, I think that would be advantageous for the board to know.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, just so it happened that I was having lunch with the chief of staff today at BJ's. And I guess it was Wall Street Day at BJ's, because there was a number of people who are associated with Wall Street who are actually coming up to me, talking to me about Brian and Rocky going to the business. I think just to give me a little of a, hey, we really appreciate this. This was really great. They're kind of excited about this. And I think there's overall excitement for the Wall Street corridor at this time. I think with us breaking ground, unfortunately now in August, on phase one, and then an upcoming community meeting. I think the movement of Wall Street Place is exciting. I think the theater is I actually got to meet the new owners of the theater. They were there too and introduced themselves to me. I think there's a lot to celebrate in Wall Street right now, and they were very excited about this starting. So
Thanks,
nothing
Jim.
but positive comments about, and I haven't even got a chance to tell Brian that yet either. So Brian and Rocky, nothing but positive comments from you
Awesome.
guys.
That's great. And Matt, just to include, and we're also going to be sending out emails to our permit holders about it, kind of similar to what we were doing for the East Norwalk closures with our permit holders, just constant communication, email communication with them, and also giving them a phone number to call us at to, ask questions, that kind of a thing.
Great, much appreciated, Brian. I want to recognize Judd.
Jim, you said East Wall Street's delayed till August now? What's the
Yeah,
cause of that?
The contractor can't start until August 5th.
Okay, but you've locked in a contractor.
Yeah. He was supposed to start earlier, but he informed us that he's not going to be able to start until August 5th.
Okay, who is it? Can I ask?
Waters Construction.
Okay, good.
Thanks, gentlemen. Much obliged. Anything that we can do from an outreach perspective to support those businesses in this town. I'm certain that the rest of the commissioners here would love to know how we can do that and consider that. So thank you.
You're welcome. And maybe we could look at doing a landing page for the project. So businesses and also constituents can go there for more information on the project. That might be helpful.
Great. Thank you.
Right. Cool. I will keep going. So the next item on the agenda is the parking operator for Norwalk Parking Authority. It's the RFP that the proposal opened last Thursday. We had 4 submissions from Imperial Parking, Pro Park, Laz Parking, and SP Plus. The next steps in this process are our purchasing agent Sharon Connors gave the selection committee access to start reviewing those proposals. We are planning to schedule a meeting for those members during the week of April 8th, where they're going to bring comments, questions, go over the proposals on high level, and just kind of basically just discuss the submissions and try to pick a date for interviews and what proposers we're going to interview for this RFP. Also, our consultants from the Dixon Group are working on a few items to help in this review. I'm anticipating these leveling sheets being done by mid next week, if not sooner, just so we can help the selection committee just kind of review those proposals and just make it like very visually make it easier to read. What else happening? For the selection committee, plan on half a day. Interviews will be 45 minutes for each firm and will be held in person. Dates and location will come to the committee members in the next few weeks. After the interviews, the groups will have a wrap-up meeting to discuss and decide on who the decision to award.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brian. We look forward to seeing that, and I'm sure the selection committee will be primed and ready to go. All right. Is there anything else on? And oh yes,
Yep,
please.
yep. Yeah, so just want to give an update on what's been going on over at East Norwalk with the closure. Amidst the challenging posed by the temporary closure, our staff was out in force to assist local commuters. We collaborate closely with the DOT and the transit district to ensure a seamless experience for those inconvenienced by the closure. Once the station reopens, I'll be reaching out to the DOT and the transit district to form a postmortem to help us improve upon the operations in anticipation for the next closure that I think they're saying is going to happen at the end of May or beginning of June. Just a little bit of info about our parkers. 98 of the 103 permit holders who expressed interest in using the South Norwalk train station during the DOT's closure of the East Norwalk station were actively parking at the South Norwalk garage. So that's pretty good. There were I think 12, Rocky, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 12 just didn't show any interest. So, but 98 out of the 103 that wanted the access are using it. So that's great. And it was very helpful to them. And I added a few pictures of the team during the last week when they were helping everyone out.
Much appreciated, Brian. I can say that as a community note, it seems that there's more action at the South Norwalk garage. When I went to park there this morning, there was an entire level that was full that is not usually full when I commute out of there. And some East Norwalkers that I used to commute with commented that they're really hopeful that the new East Norwalk station resembles in any way, shape, or form how nice and clean the South Norwalk garage is. So
That's good to hear.
This is feedback for the team.
That's great. Rocky, please express that sentiment to the team, please.
Will do, thank you.
That's great to hear.
And that's it for the engineering and project report, Matt.
Thanks very much, Brian. I appreciate your update. And I think we're prepared to go to the financial operating report unless there are any questions. Okay, we'll move to the operating report. Rocky, you're on.
I stopped sharing, Rocky, so it's all you.
I'm sharing, bear with me 1 second. Windows. See my screen now?
Yeah, we see it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. For the month of February, I'll start with how we performed compared to budget. I'm going to be working with 2 screens, so if you see me looking at the other way, please bear with me. For the month of February, revenue compared to budget, we were down for the month, and then up on a year-to-date basis. The reason that we underperformed the revenue side is from Haviland Deck and on-street activities. Even though all other facilities showed an increased activity, Haviland and on-street activity has been slower, and that resulted in and for the month a decreased activity and revenue. Also, we've noticed that parking violation revenue has been down for the month. I'm not sure if it is too early to tell if it is a good trend that people are complying to the parking rules and regulations. But for the past 2 months, we were parking violation was performing under budget. On the expense side of it, expense was under, it was both on a year-to-date and on month basis. We finished under budget, which is favorable for us. That gave us a good fund balance of a positive fund balance of 16,000 in fund balance over a budget of 6,000. And with for the year to date, we're sitting at a $480,000 fund balance on a budget of 184. But as we go through the months, there are some projects that deferred and have not been performed. So we plan to use that fund balance. And Brian and I are working on projects that are being deferred, so we could start securing those funding for those projects. If you have any question on so far on the budget, please let me know. You can stop me anytime. And for
Sirak, quick
Yes.
question. What are some of those deferred projects?
some that we have reported so far are overhead door repair at the South Norwalk train station garage, some stairwell repairs that needs to be done at the South Norwalk train station garage, and also there are some bathroom repairs that we need to complete at the South Norwalk train station. We've been me and Brian have been meeting some vendors and getting some pricings. So we would like to secure for, these are some of the projects that we're planning to do, and I'm sure we're going to present to you. But at this point, those are the major ones that we have put it on hold.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. On a month-to-date comparison from prior year and prior month, for the month of revenue, for the month of February, revenue compared to last month, it was down, and then also year-to-date revenue is up comparing it to last year. And the reason that revenue is up comparing it to last year is we did have some increased activity at the Maritime Garage, and that for the year-to-date basis, that showed a major increase for year-to-date basis, year-to-date revenue. Any questions so far? We also wanted to include in this, going forward, we would like to include some of the locations that are underperforming or overperforming for the months that we're in. So for the month, we dig deeper, and we've noticed that meter revenue and Haviland Tech are down, comparing them to prior year and prior month. And these are the locations that are busy for on-street for weekend evening activities, especially Haviland Tech. We're seeing a major decline at especially those nights. We used to fill up the Haviland Tech, so we're seeing a decline in Haviland Tech. On the flip side, Northwater for the months did outperform prior months numbers, and that's mainly for some activities that are happening at the Washington Prime. So we staff, and we're also on site observing those, and those revenues are coming from people that are going to the Washington Prime route area.
Rocky, quick question.
Sure.
Are we seeing similar trends month to date in the month of March?
It did follow trend on just like a yearly trend, but for the month of February this year, we did have more snow days, Matt, so that actually affected some transient activity. But even in spite of those increased snow activity days, more happening in this month, we did perform better than last month.
Okay. That was going to be my question, is can we point towards the weather, or is there some other factor that we're not considering? But as long as we're bucking the trend month over month, fair enough.
Yeah,
There is a little occupancy issue on Washington as well, so contributing to it. So
yes.
Yeah. Jim, and I'm sorry, this is probably not the right time to discuss it. So with that, I'll hold my tongue until later in the meeting.
okay.
We also have more restaurants opening up at the mall too, which could affect that.
Thanks, Chad. Maybe some of the people that are going to the mall restaurants, taking some customers from the Sono area, but I'm not privy to that information from the mall, so I can't tell that side out, Chad. Is there any question so far? If not, I'll go to the variance report for the month of them. We did have some, parking violation, even though it did not meet that 20% and 5,000 requirement. We wanted to include it because January and February, we did see a decline in violation revenue. It is too early to tell if it is people following compliance, but it's a good sign. We want our revenue to come from parking revenue, rather than violations. We've also noticed ticket issuance has been a little bit down for the month of February, but again, weather also has to play in that. So there were some more snow days than this in February. On the expense side, building, there are three line items that met the requirement. Building repair and maintenance is one of them, and this is because some repairs, as mentioned earlier, are deferred. So due to the cold weather, so as we go further, we'll see that the building repair and maintenance line items at least meeting the budgeted line item or exceeding that line item. Snow removal, we came under budget, and that's because we did not receive 2 or 3 invoices from a vendor, and that we will see that getting paid in March, but we'll still have that budgeted amount in March that's not touched, so we're still going to be under budget on a year-to-date basis. Service contract for the month, we were over budget. If you recall, in our prior month variance report, service contract was under budget, and we included that, and because we were missing an invoice, and that invoice has been paid in the month of March, in the month of February. That's why you're seeing it being over budget. Questions on variance report so far? Thank you. And this is the full financial statement for the month. The ones highlighted in different color are the ones that are that met the requirement in the variance report. So I'll pause for a few, see if there's any question on the full financial statement. All right. System-wide activity. Let me look at my screen over here. Bear with me. System-wide activity and transient activity year-to-date is below last year number, and revenue is up 5.1% above last year. Even though for the year-to-date, the transient activities are below last year number, and then but revenue is up. The reason for it is on a year-to-date basis, the transient activity that is down is mainly coming from the on-street area and smaller transient activity places. That's why the revenue is down, but the activity is down for them for year-to-date. But on the revenue side, is higher because the increased revenue that we're getting is coming from the train station facilities, which are a higher volume, a higher parking rate. So that is why revenue is up on a year-to-date basis, even though the activity is down. Any question, or did I clarify that properly? Thanks. We also went into transient activity area for that actually outperformed for on a year-to-date basis. So we've noticed train station, the garage, and the lots outperformed, and then also Yankee Doodle Garage, which we're seeing an increased activity and from the garage and from the Yankee Doodle Garage, as well as the streets that's surrounding the Yankee Doodle Garage, and that is mainly coming from business, smart businesses that are actually promoting the parking garage, how to use the parking payment methods and the parking garages, and we're seeing an increased activity at the Yankee Doodle Garage. Webster lot was also outperformed for the year system wide. That is why we're seeing that higher increased revenue on a system wide level. That's what I have on system-wide transient activity. On the payment side, we do have a breakdown of the different payment methods in here in the chart in the file that you have. If you have any question on that, I can explain.
Rocky, a little different question in regards to the Yankee Doodle Garage. I've just noticed in the last, say, few weeks that the second floor is, it seems like a business is parking cars there. They're brand new cars. I would have originally thought they were Ford cars from McMahon Ford, but they're not Fords, or most of them aren't Fords anyway. So two-part question. First of all, I think when McMahon parked, they tend to go to the roof or to the top floor or something like that. And is that kind of a requirement? I would think it seemed like it was. And then who's using like the second floor for all these new cars?
Pete, for Ford, they're parking on the rooftop and they're not supposed to park on the lower level. But if there is any new vehicles that were parked on the second floor, I will monitor. I know we caught last month Wheels to You were trying to park 4 or 5 cars on the second floor, and we stopped them because they didn't have a signed contract with us. But as far as any other brand new cars parked on the second floor, I'll make sure that there are no brand new cars on the second floor, and no one should be parking in there.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Peter, are those, they're not dealer plates, they're actually registered plates, or did you notice?
I don't think they have any plates, or if they have a paper plate in the tinted window, I didn't really pick up on it. I'm not sure.
All right, so the only one that we'd have is with no plates would be McMahon. Rocky, let's just make sure that we don't have somebody throwing some cars on the other thing.
Yeah,
You've usually been very good, so.
No, it's not a Ford, so it's not him. So it's, I think most of them were like Chrysler minivans and some other cars, so anyway, maybe just needs a little attention.
All right.
Absolutely, Pete. We'll do that. The Chrysler, the new ones that you saw was from from Wheels to You. That happened about 3 weeks ago, so we got them removed right away. But if there are any additional, I'll follow up and I'll update the
Thanks.
Thank you, Pete. If no questions here, I'll go to the permit part. Demand for permit has shown an increase, resulting in an increased revenue for overall system-wide. There were a total of 2,818 permits sold for the month this year. Comparing it to prior year, there were only 2,713 permits sold last year. So there's an increase, and it's trending in a positive overall. And then if there's these line items, they're repetitive in the ops report, so I won't go describing them. The number of permits that we had, available spaces, and of a total of half an hour capacity. Any question here?
So Rocky, could you just go back for 1 second? I think this is really great for the commission. We have 2,800 tickets sold, but little over 3,000 tickets of permits available. So it looks like people are coming back, right? I think if they're coming back, we have spent considerable effort to make sure that when they return to a great station. And kudos to Rocky and team for those earlier comments you made, Matt. People are recognizing it, and that's nice. But it's also nice that we're returning this. This was a little bit of a hard journey for us, but if you look at this history, this shows really, really good increase year over year. So I think it's a good job on everyone's part.
Thank you, Jim. On street, we did touch up on top on the in-street on the on-street activity. We're seeing a decline in activity on street, comparing it to budget as well as prior year actual. So that resulted in a decreased revenue. Major decline from came from the North Main and South Main streets and the major corridors. We're seeing a decline. And we, dug deeper and, noticed that Washington Street, Wall Street, and Washington, Wall Street, River Street, and Main Street remain consistent with prior numbers. So the ones that are getting affected are the North Main, South Main, and the outer areas that are actually losing that activity. We also went into payment method for on-street. Prior year, our ratio of credit card versus cash payment on the street was 73% in credit card and 27% in cash. And comparing it to this year, we're transitioning into 91% in credit card and 9% in cash, and that's a good story to tell as we put in those new pay stations, the multi-kiosk, multi-space meters that converted most of those cash transactions into credit cards. So we just wanted to bring that up to the board. So the improvement that we did with cash acceptance. Any question? All right, I'll go to enforcement. Enforcement tickets issuance was down for the month. This, and this could be related, as stated earlier, due to the weather and more snow days this year. On a year-to-date ticket issuance and violation were slightly higher, and for total for the so far 20.3% of our revenue, system-wide revenue, comes from citation, and we also broke it down into different categories. That 20% citation payment, 14% was clearly from citation fines, and 5.9% of it is coming from late fees on citations. Question on this? Right. The violation collection program. This is for so far year to date for 2024 we collected 109. 23 we finished at 129. So we're trending this way. We might be collecting more than what we did in 2023, and that's the effort with the collection agent that we have sending those notices monthly. On a ticket versus demand analysis, ticket issuance, as I stated earlier, has slowed down for the month of February. Demand has ticked up a little bit for a month, comparing it to prior month, and that average demand versus ticket issuance is down to 2.39% from prior month. Comparing it to prior year, we're at 2.39. That's a major decline for comparing it to versus the demand. This is the 5-year summary for ticket issuance. Current year, for 8 months, we're averaging same as last year overall with the ticket issuance through February of this year. And if you have any question on these, I'd be more than happy to go deeper.
I just had a quick question about what you just previously said about people that are, settling up their delinquent tickets and so forth.
Yes.
Is that something that could be a negotiated item, or is that hard to the wall? This is the number, and that's the scoop. Could you just elaborate on just a little bit, Rocky?
Sure. Delinquent tickets are due as they are. If they are late on payment, they are due for those late fees. But we do have leniency if people come in, a day late on those, tickets. So if it escalated it just on one day, we do make an exception just for customers. But if it is late for 6 months, 3 months, we do not reduce those late fees.
Okay. Just kind of want to know.
Yes, and then I think I want to go back on the ticket issuance thing. I'm sorry to go back in this. I want to elaborate on those beach ticket violations that we're reporting. These citations are not because we're operating the beach currently, but these are tickets, per Eric request that he wanted to see how we're doing with beach collection. So the 3,100 for the month we collected from beach is not coming from current beach operation, but through the season. The season runs from May 15th through October 15th. So these are tickets issued during that time, and there, payments still coming into our office. So it has nothing. We're not operating the beach at this point. I just wanted to clarify that.
Right. I'm just thinking, just kind of having a soft heart, I guess, a little bit is I think some of these violations, in my mind, maybe I could be completely wrong, kind of affects the people that don't have it to begin with. Or, and maybe when I first got on the parking authority, was there an amnesty period or a leniency period or someone that's in over their heads? Is there any alternatives for them to get out of this?
Peter, we did a period where there was a reduced window, and additionally, I think the feedback that we've received is that the vast majority of delinquencies are non-residents.
Okay.
So I don't believe that there's parity necessarily in that kind of feeling. But I'm
if it's
happy
somebody
to be wrong.
just trying to skip town without paying, that's one thing. If it's somebody that's in over their heads and going from paycheck to paycheck, that's something different. That's what I'm just trying to be open about. I thought I remembered something in regards to that.
Yes, the amnesty program, we've discussed it, we've finalized it. We were just waiting for, rolling it out, system-wide. So that is something that is in the work, and we'll update you on that, Pete. But we do have, a good amount of, as Matt's mentioned, most of these, delinquent tickets are, out of state people that never send the payment. So we can dive deeper and analyze this and, send you an update as well, Pete.
Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's also an appeal process that violators can go through to, make
That's
their
great.
case in front of a
Yeah, they
of
have
a
options.
unbiased
Yep,
party.
sounds good.
All right, and thank you, Pete. And the last item is pay by cell. We're seeing a constant increased activity on pay by cell. We're also noticing a higher increased usage on street activity, on the street pay Park Mobile usage, and we'll push that education of the business employees and encouraging them to go on Park Mobile and start use their Park Mobile payment out throughout the system. With that, I will stop my presentation. If there's any question, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky. I appreciate that. I think at this point, it's time for old business and an update on handicap compliance. Is that coming from Brian?
Yes, sir. It's
All
coming
right.
from me. Thank you, Vice Chair. Quick update, really good one too, on handicap compliance. If you see the little picture on the top right, that's what the multi-space meters look like now. So the handicap compliance went live this week on those meters. This is a great step towards handicap access to the MPA assets. I think it's a big step into just making handicap accessibility a little bit friendlier for our constituents and visitors of Norwalk.
Thanks, Brian. Definitely clearer on that interface.
Yeah, it's a great feature, and I think it's just a step, another step we're taking to become handicap compliant throughout our facilities. There's going to be more to come on that.
Great, thank you.
Then the next item for old business is the credit card fees. And I've been looking at our statements for the past couple weeks, and the variances that I noticed are a little bit larger than what I anticipated. And my recommendations to the board at this point in time is that we do a small RFP for credit card processing. If I'm handpicking people and coming up with different numbers, that I have to believe that there's something larger happening, and this RFP will help us, at least find a, try to get a level head on vendors out there that can give us proposals. So I'm seeking the board to vote on allowing Norwalk TMP to seek proposals for a new credit card processor.
Thank you, Brian. I'll open it up to the other commissioners to propose a motion in that regard.
And I'll make a motion for a request for a proposal to seek alternative credit card processing vendor. Brian, thank you for looking into this and bringing this up. I think it's great.
Thank you,
Team
Judge.
effort.
There's a motion. Does it have a second? Peter, if you're speaking, you're muted.
Sorry about that, Matt. I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion regarding this motion?
Yeah, I'd like to just say that, having some personal experience with credit card processing fees, it's a real challenge. And I think they do that on purpose. It gets you
Yes.
going around in circles till your brain hurts, and then you take a break, and, it doesn't get any better after that. But, at that national show that's going to be in Ohio, I wonder if they address things like that. It's got to be a huge expense for municipalities all across the country. I think it's one of those topics that's kind of not talked about. There's tremendous amounts of money at stake. I know when I get my monthly fees, as you guys get your monthly fees, they can rock your socks. I mean, it's big stuff. So I don't know the right answer, but I don't know.
And I think the
Yeah.
RFP is going to help us understand what the competition's like to allow us to make a recommendation to the board with what we should do moving forward.
Brian, I appreciate that, and I think, Peter, Judd, Pam, this has been a bug for me for some time, if for no other reason than we feel like the taxpayer and our constituents here in the city deserve a little bit more transparency as it relates to these fees. And if we can do something about that, this RFP will certainly give us direction, or the results of the RFP will give us direction as to how much the market is willing to inform us in that regard. So I think this is a great first step. Is there any other discussion?
The only thing I'll mention is, in my own little business, we went through an online type terminal because we go out to homes. In other words, it's a mobile type system, which is kind of like the parking authority. It's out and about different lots, different parking areas, and so forth. It cost me money to buy the equipment, but it saved me 0.5%. But if it's 0.5%, it really adds up. It's considerable. So I don't know of any of the vendors that we were talking to at the Yankee Doodle conference room had different ways to look at that, or different avenues that makes their system more valuable because of how it is accepted through the credit card processing companies. If you see what I'm getting at there, maybe it's already done that way. It probably is already done that way because it's got to be all encrypted and so forth and so on.
Well, so they'd have the PCI compliance, but I think, what Brian was talking to before is, he has been looking around, and submitting, our previous statements to a number of different companies, and we're seeing a variety of in just the ones that he's identified and put out a variety of different rates. So, we discussed this and thought this is much larger. And I think, to Matt was discussing earlier, it's a different world, right? We're seeing our own credit card usage increase, right? So we're largely coming cashless, right? And more people are using credit card, and we should be negotiating that rate, right? Because all we're doing is give out more. So we thought that we felt best that we should not be handpicking people or looking for those, but that we should do a competitive bid. And certainly we could look, Brian could look at what's out at the parking show. But I think the best way to get the best rate is to do, an RFP that's submitted through our purchasing agent at the city, so that we have the largest reach to get through and see what true numbers are really out there.
Yeah, the only reason I said the trade show was because if Norwalk joins with 100 other municipalities, now they're a big player, and then they're heard more, and people pay attention more. And maybe that doesn't apply to that situation, but whatever works.
When I think you bring up a good point, just being able to connect at these shows with different municipalities, discussing our challenges can kind of unite us to see what everyone's best practice is to maybe drive some pricing or just drive the market to a more favorable solution for us.
These banks, they make a ton of money off of this, a ton, and they really are making money hands over fist.
Pam, I saw you pop up. I wanted to give you the opportunity if you wanted to.
Well, I've dealt with the credit card companies, with the banks, at a different, coming in from a different aspect. Sorry, my dog is driving me crazy today. Get out of here. Go. You can negotiate, but we dealt strictly with the bank and negotiated via the various banks that we used for the New Canaan Library. We had the advantage, we had a capital campaign going on at the time, so we had like $30 million. So it's very difficult to negotiate, and it's, like Peter said, you'll get 0.5%, but it does add up.
Well, I appreciate that, and I agree. I think 0.5% in our case would be quite a win. But with that, I'll one last round. So I'll close comment. The motion is on the floor for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Brian.
Welcome.
I think with that, we'll move to new business, which is our customer satisfaction survey.
So we were recommending to the board that we run a quick 5-question survey for the next few months. The insights that we receive will help us enhance the quality of our operations. And I remember when I first met Jim over the summer, I really pushed that, getting feedback it's important. Good, bad feedback. It's vital to us for operations to, maybe put enhancements on changing some of the issues that we're seeing over a time period that we're asking quick questions. If we get good engagement and feedback, we can run the survey throughout the year to get more feedback. And eventually I would like to see improvements to our online reviews through the actions we take from the feedback we receive. And then, it'll just refine our customer service process. And the survey will be accessible a few ways. A QR code that can be strategically placed at locations throughout all the facilities, business card distribution by the staff, and tablets used by staff to engage the customers. If approved, we can get this survey live in 2 weeks, and we can follow up with the initial feedback at our next meeting. Now, this is also these questions were recommended and brought up by Rocky and the Laz team. I really engaged with them on this because I found it important. That's why I wanted to allude to the conversation I first had with Jim. And I think it would be a very important step into getting the good, bad, the ugly to our faces so we can really put our heads together to really improve what we're missing.
Brian, is there no way to incorporate this with Park Mobile so that people who create a transaction get the opportunity to fill out the survey?
It's a great question. I don't know. Rocky, have you heard anything that can integrate with Park Mobile to get like a quick survey right after they do the transaction, or maybe they email it?
We can engage on Park Mobile and see if they can actually at the end of the transaction, that directs them to the survey questions, and if they can answer it, we can definitely engage Park Mobile and so we can get a wider audience or participants.
Yeah, no, that's a good it's a good suggestion, Matt. And we will see what we can do on our end, because I think being able just to get these questions out there, no matter which way we get it, is going to be important.
Agreed.
Brian, let's also see if we can't get a QR code that'll just direct someone on their phone to 5 questions that they can go real quickly and answer, because that way, they can always scan that on their way out and then answer them at another time.
Yeah, that was actually one of the items that's one of the items we're definitely going to do, is that QR code.
All right. I'll open it up to the floor for a motion for the customer satisfaction survey.
And I'd be more than happy to take suggestions on the questions. I can read them to you. Which parking location did you visit? How would you rate the cleanliness and overall appearance of the facility? How attentive and courteous were the parking staff you interacted with? On a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied were you with your overall experience? And additional comments and concerns that customers could list out.
I would just make a multiple choice. People
Yep.
will push the button, it's Yankee Doodle. It's clean it's clean. They'll just hit 1, 2, 3, really quick and simple.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Still looking for a motion.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's right.
It-
I'd
this-
like to make a motion. Well,
Okay, go Peter, go on.
okay, I'd like to make a motion for Brian to move forward with the customer satisfaction survey.
Thank you,
I'll
Peter.
second it.
There's a motion and a second on the floor, and we'll open it up to further discussion. I think the feedback on being able to pre-select is good. It'll help us if possible.
Wondering if there should just be a question in there about how easy your parking experience was. Finding parking, the whole transaction. I know there's additional comments and concerns, but I don't know. I don't know what anybody else.
I
think
would,
that's a good idea.
what's your ease of parking, location, ease of parking, ease of transaction?
Yeah, I mean, the one complaint I hear is people get confused at the pay station. So, do we if that really is the case, or am I just hearing a few random people? But
I
something
think
out there.
I think what we could do, Rocky and the Laz team developed most of these questions. I think
Yeah.
we could go back and see how we can word what you're saying a little bit more effective to get the point across that you and Pam are talking about.
Appreciate that, Brian.
Yeah, because we want it as easy as possible. We don't want people to have to struggle or think about it, so. I think that would be good.
Very Shoupian of you, Judd. Uh,
Reading
Uh,
some Shoop?
when are we not?
Yeah, every night I read a chapter.
It'll still take you 20 years to get through.
Yeah,
All right, so any further comment? I'll close comment and put it up to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions. And the motion carries. Best of luck, Brian. Please let us know what those final questions shake out to be and how we fare. With that, I just have one more thing is, Jim, what I was going to say earlier when we were kind of discussing Haviland and what's going on at Washington Street. I wonder if there isn't an opportunity, or if Sabrina has reached out about the space that the economic development is sponsoring on Washington Street. I wonder if when they do find a tenant, we could cross promote on our website, whoever that tenant is in that space.
That's a great idea. So I think there's, it brings in line to a couple of things. We did have Brian, let's reach out with Sabrina tomorrow to that should be part of the whole package that we can have. We could add another layer of that, but also there is a property owner that's offering some other free space, like they are offering a space to the Girl Scouts to sell the Girl Scout cookies, and I think there's others, and maybe we could look at those, cross-reference, cross-promoting those as well as different things to, alert people that there's other new things coming around.
Thank you, Jim. With that, there being no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second on the adjournment. And we'll call the meeting, the March meeting of the Norwalk Parking Authority Board adjourned at 6:59 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate all of your help and efforts this evening.
All right, thank you. And for those who celebrate, have a great Easter.
Yeah, happy
Have a
Easter.
good
Thank you.
holiday.
Thank you all.
Team, come, say hi to Jim. Come on, up.
Oh, hey, there's my friend. Where is he? Hey.
Team.
Here, how about, there you go, Pam, for your
Look.
dog.
He's no longer a puppy.
Here's mine.
Let's see, where's yours, Jim?
Well, I gotta get
Let me see.
unblurred here, hold on.
I've heard your
Yeah,
dog.
get
I've
rid of
never
the
seen
agenda
it.
so we can see.
So here, can you come here?
Oh, look,
See?
look, T, look, T, look. Look.
Boy.
All right, see if I can get my guy up here. Here he is.
It's funny.
Here we go.
My dog's blind, so I don't know where he's at.
Okay. Oh,
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
Wait.
it's cute.
oh, Jim, look at him. Look at
See?
this guy is just so young that he's just a pain in the neck.
Well, this guy's old. He's still a pain in the neck, but I love him.
Oh, all
All right,
right.
have a good night, you guys.
All right,
Happy
you
Easter,
too.
thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.